Hello there everyone and welcome back to Let's 9-Day Pikmin. We are continuing our little quest to gather all of the remaining ship pieces in every area, and we're doing so in the same order we originally did the areas in because reasons. Now, this day is the day that probably confuses me the most in terms of the decisions I made during the gameplay. Like, I'm taking out 75 Pikmin right here, and then 4 yellows. I need the yellows, so I couldn't exactly take out 100 blue Pikmin. And for some reason I really like multiples of 5, and then multiples of 25. And that just works perfectly with 75. And also being very inefficient with the nectar right here. It took me 3 of them to flowerize most of my army. So that's kind of bad. Yeah, I'm bad. I never want to claim otherwise, I'm just an average gamer. Kind of. Now, you'll notice that the spotted bulbos have not respawned yet. It takes them a little longer to respawn because they're bigger enemies, so. That right there was kind of awesome. It's a shame that I started throwing more Pikmin after the first one. But then again, dwarf bulbos have a tendency of eating the Pikmin you throw at them right away if they land in the right spot, or rather the wrong spot. Then your Pikmin just die immediately. But anyway, I remember saying at the very beginning of the Forest Naval, day 3, that we could have done this with just reds and yellows. Oh, I didn't exactly say that, but I implied it. That wall right there, you can throw it, bomb Pikmin up on the ledge right next to it, and they will actually put the bombs on top of the wall. So that's how you get that. But now right here, those pellet posies right there, they have a chance to spawn closer to that ledge. And so if you throw your bomb Pikmin up on the right side of the ledge, they will throw their bombs at the pellet posies. Also, after throwing bomb Pikmin, if you call them with the whistle, they will drop the bomb rather than just come to you. So you have to touch them with your body. When you dismiss them like that, you can call them safely, I guess. Yeah. It's just when you throw them, be sure to touch them to get them back in your army. Otherwise, you'll lose all your bombs. I've done that. Anyway, here we have the armored cannon beetle. This enemy is kind of funny because it's the only enemy that moves like this, so you have to keep up with it. And I'm doing a pretty bad job. You'll notice that a lot of Pikmin were actually on the ground hitting it, where it doesn't do any damage. If I had gotten all of my Pikmin onto the red bag thing area inside, then I could have killed it in one cycle. There's another one in Distant Spring, which I believe I do kill in one cycle. And at that point I only have 30 something Pikmin. So yeah. I guess that's one of my reasons for only taking 75. Like on that guy, I don't have time to throw all of my Pikmin onto him. So there's no point in having those 20 or so more Pikmin that I would have had. So that's the idea behind it. But really there's still no reason not to take a full army. I don't know. Better not think too much about it. Also about those pellet posies. Why would Pikmin want to attack the pellet posies before they have grown their pellets? Pikmin AI, why are you not intelligent? Well, what do you expect, Pikmin? I don't even know. Now at this point is where I remember starting to question my decisions as the gameplay version of me. Because, well, let's just say that the radiation canopy is gonna get back to base a little faster than I thought it would. And now I feel like I should have just stayed back there and picked up the 25 more Pikmin that I didn't decide to pick up and never do pick up. Just so I could have gotten these bridges built faster. Because these bridges, they take a while. Also, you might wonder, how the heck would you make this bridge with red and yellow Pikmin. When red and yellow Pikmin are in the water, obviously they'll start drowning. But every time you use your whistle on them, the timer for their drowning resets. So you can have red and yellow Pikmin in the water forever, as long as you call them with your whistle. And then you can lead them over there to build the bridge. It's some really crazy stuff that I would never want to use. That right there, I don't think I ever saw one of those in another point of this playthrough. But that was a honey wisp. If you throw a Pikmin at them, they'll drop that yellow ball and it'll become a pool of nectar on the ground. Not as reliable as grass, but whatever. Anyway, this box right here. If you want to push this box with just yellow and red Pikmin, you can just throw them on top of the box and then lead them onto the other side by calling them from within the box. So, well, I don't know. It's just more convenient to do this with blue Pikmin because if you go across there with big army, they'll fall off. Also, Snagrid. There's 3 of these guys right here, but I only care about this guy because he has a ship piece. They follow the same rules as the sharecrafts, in that they won't come out of the ground unless Olimar is on top of them. So, Pikmin are safe. Let's just leave it at that. Pikmin are safe. Now, the reason I'm not attacking him. Their weak spot is obviously the head. And when they do this, it's a lot easier to get your Pikmin onto the head. So that's pretty much just... I'm getting pretty lucky with this guy because he does it in the same spot again. Unfortunately, he doesn't die. Just barely. But as intimidating as these enemies are, they're really not a very big threat. I mean, they eat maybe 2 or 3 Pikmin at a time, whereas a spotted Bulbos will eat however many Pikmin are right in front of it. Killing that one particular Snagrid gives us the Giga, however you pronounce it, counter thingy. And that's all there really is to do up here. Now, something worth noting about that particular ship piece, if you have anything else than blue Pikmin carrying it, they will go all the way back around. That the way we came from, but if they're all blue, they'll just drop down here, which is pretty nice. But as you can see right here, this bridge is only about halfway done after all this time. If I just picked up those 25 extra Pikmin, these bridges would be done, and this day would be over so much sooner, quicker. But I didn't. This is pretty much the point where I regretted my decision. Also, something else that's worth pointing out. You might remember on the first day, the second day, here in the Forest of Hope. That very first wall I bumped with the yellow Pikmin, which caused me a little bit of confusion with how many bumps I had. The reason I blew that up on the first day was so that I didn't have to come back on this day and have to bring yellow Pikmin over there to blow it up. Because I wouldn't want to bring those yellow Pikmin over to the Snagrids, so I'd have to leave them behind. But then I'd have to go back and pick them up. And so the whole idea of blowing up that wall was just to avoid that. Really. That was all there was to it. Anyway, we only got 1 remaining ship piece, and as soon as this bridge finishes, which it just did, we're pretty much done. As soon as the Sagittarius, as you will see, Sagittarius is dead. Also, I don't understand. All of those are blue Pikmin. Why don't they just go through the water? They did it with the Geiger counter. However you're supposed to pronounce that. I don't know. Pikmin pathing is kind of finicky about that, going in water. Anyway, these guys that I'm killing right here are called Wogpoles. And as you might imagine, that means they're essentially the tadpoles of the Wollywogs. Now on one hand, I'd say I'm killing babies. I'm a horrible person. On the other hand, I am killing the Wollywog population of the Forest of Hope, so that the native creatures will never have to deal with those horrors. Seriously, Wollywogs are the worst. They don't ever spawn here, which is kind of funny. There are baby Wollywogs here, but there are no grown Wollywogs. What the hell, Nintendo? What? Why do you do this? Anyway, I'm not even sure why I started carrying them back. I think I was just taking out my rage, like my hate, against Wollywogs and their babies, which isn't really fair, but I don't care. Also, why did that Pikmin start picking it up? Pikmin AI is so weird. But with all that said, I have completely forgotten what I was saying before, so I'm just cutting it out now. All I have left to do is pluck that Pikmin. I have nothing more to do. End of the day. That was very easy. Yeah. And don't continue from last save. That is a bad habit I have from these 9 days runs. Just saying, oh, I screwed something up. Continue from last save. No. 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 Just don't. That would be a very bad idea. I'm pretty much out of things to say about that. I'm trying too hard sometimes. Trying way too hard. Way too hard. But hey, unlike the second day, the first day here in Forest of Hope, I actually left some of these guys alive. Did I ever mention the fact that more of those guys spawn at later days? I don't think I did. Also, that thing about Pikmin sprouting into flowers, that also happened on the second day, the first day here in Forest of Hope. So Olimar is, I don't know how far behind he is. He's just really far behind. Whatever. He'll be just as far behind in the next one.